Hi, it's Shariann and April again, talking about self-care. And we're gonna tackle the concept of physical self-care. So how do we do self-care for our body? This should be an easy one.
Right. Yeah, it seems like we have so many tools to support our bodies. um, yeah, as we get into the other topics, they get a little bit more nebulous, I suppose. But yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
self-care is it's so important for men and women, and maybe women know a little bit more about how to do that. So I think it's important too to know that men need this as well, and maybe there's a little
hmm
different than ours does, a masculine and for feminine version of physical. Um, but yeah, I mean, what comes to my mind first is uh, stretching or yoga, like that.
right.
It's like such amazing physical self care to just feel into my body and like feel like I'm stretching, and it's just good. It's a kind of sometimes it's a little bit uncomfortable, but when you're done, it's like, oh man, now I feel so much better.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, I think this is the easy kind of go-to when when you hear the phrase self-care. And you could easily go to like, okay, my body, so I'm going to, like you said, stretching. And even if you're in going through your cancer journey, one of the things that I did was restorative yoga, which felt
Mhm.
like, okay, I'm just taking a nap, but
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know, with everybody else, and it really did feel good.
it does, right? Especially when you get a nice little pillow somewhere, sit on a pillow or lay with pillows and really just sink into a posture and just
Right,
that, yeah.
right.
And like the
Or
breath, right?
the breath work, yeah,
Along with that, or even breath work alone. I mean, that's so detoxifying and just really like you're breathing through your whole body and releasing that tension that we tend to carry around.
that's such a good reminder
Right.
of just breathing and how important it is. I mean, I know that our body does it all the time, but actually being conscious of your breath.
Yeah. Like intentional breath.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
For sure. And I think as we were talking about in the previous video of an obvious one that comes to mind is a bubble bath.
Yes,
That's like
yes,
self-care, physical self-care, like soaking in water. What about a hot,
yes.
like being at a hot spring?
See, now that I can do, I'm really unlike you. I'm not a bubble bath person. I kind of get bored. And I'll bring a magazine, but it's like, okay, I can only do this for about 10 minutes.
Yeah.
But being in a hot spring where I like can turn on the jets, or there's just more flowy, and it's mostly outside, right? So it's like, okay, then I get to look up at the sky, and maybe it's even in community. I know that we've been through COVID, but in community with other people around, where a
Mhm.
bubble bath is really quite solo. It's like
Yes.
I do love that part, and I guess that's more of a different topic. It's not physical, but I'm like, ooh, I could do this in with other people.
The collective relaxation, right? Feeling the energy of everybody just going, ah, this is awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Or even just moving my body, going for a walk. I know we talked about nature before, but walking anywhere, just allowing my organs to kind of free flow and not be sitting down or laying down all the time. It's like, oh, that feels good to my body.
Mm.
That
Mhm.
nourishes me. That feeds me.
Yeah. Yeah. And even the uh just touch, right? Like massage, like getting a massage,
Hmm.
or even just rubbing your own body, like with lotion or oils, like that can be really healing and feel like a lot of like self care is,
Right.
yeah, being able to experience touch. And so I was thinking like getting a massage. That's such a great way for to honor physical self-care or
Hmm.
facial. That
Right.
feels
And there
good.
is something about being touched by another person
Hmm.
that does feel good. I mean, yes, I love to go, thank you, body, for, all that you've been through. Thank you, legs, thank you, arms. I mean, thank you, veins.
Hmm.
Thank you, body. Being
Yeah.
able to say that. And also when somebody else is touching you, there's some that really feels nurturing. I don't know. What is that? I know you're much more familiar with that than I am. What is that?
Yeah. I mean, I think there's a piece of sort of just letting yourself be cared for in that is part of the self-care, right? Accepting, giving yourself permission to just be here and allow someone to just shower you with like love and attention. It kind of like in a motherly way of how
Mm-hmm.
we're born and needed to be held or touched or loved and cared for. And um, yeah, that sense of having somebody else, massage your body and like help loosen you up. And you don't have to do the work part of it. You just kind of lay there and absorb.
That is true. I
Yeah,
mean, as you're talking about it, I'm there on a
yeah,
massage table going,
so
I
good.
need a massage.
Yeah, I know. Every day, please. Yeah.
I love that idea.
Hmm.
And then there's the whole truly nurturing and nourishing. That's really what the word I'm looking for. Nourishing my body with yummy food
Yes.
and food that when I eat it, it's like, oh yeah, that's right. Instead of the go-to like, oh, I think I'm gonna have a candy bar. It's
Right.
like, oh no, if we really slowed down, your body probably would be screaming,
Yeah.
no, you're hurting me.
Yeah. But your brain says, I want it. What does your body want? What does your heart want? Right? When it's that, yeah. I was just thinking of I ate this a kiwi this morning. Oh my gosh. It just was so tart and tangy and sweet and yummy and juicy. And I just thought of like being in Hawaii on the beach. And then feeling like, wow, just eating this little kiwi made me feel that good. But yeah, and how nourishing it is, or eating food from your garden.
Right,
Ooh,
right. Oh my God. A garden grown carrot
so
or tomato.
good, so good.
It's so good. And talk about a candy bar, right? It's naturally sweet and is, I mean, just the flavors are so true. I mean, I know that tomatoes are a fruit, not a vegetable, but somewhere along the way we've kind of made it a vegetable. And it is, I mean, truly, when it's homegrown or earth grown and it doesn't have any of the commercialism or pesticides or whatever, it's like the yummiest, sweetest
Yeah,
thing ever. I mean, as we're talking about food, my mouth is watering. It's like
yeah, totally.
this.
I know
This
my
is what.
tomatoes barely even make it in the house because I just eat them off the bush.
Do you have tomatoes?
Yeah, well, not right now. But last summer, I mean, the season's a little early now, but I've eaten them right off the bush. They never even get to the kitchen because they're so good. But yeah, I mean, I love this. The food is such a big topic. And I know when we talk about cancer recovery, that's a big question that comes up a lot is like, well, what should I eat? Do I need to change my diet? Do I need to do this? Do I need to do that? And, I always tell people, do what makes you feel good, right?
Yeah,
That is the self care, is eating.
right,
What is your body asking for? Tuning in. What is your body asking for? And that's what you should do. Does your body
right,
ask you for McDonald's? Maybe, but if you really get in there, it's really is it asking for that? So it's just something to think about. I mean, really, I know a lot of people have those questions. So food is
yeah.
such a big
Like,
part.
what should I be eating? And I know we get seduced into that place of, okay, so how do I eat so that the cancer doesn't come back? And
Mhm.
I agree with you 100% that it's not a prescribed or a specific diet. It's knowing, it's being conscious and aware of what it feels like when you're eating it. And it's not I mean, yes, I know that quote unquote a candy bar can taste great in the moment. Um, but after a while you could feel what it does to your body. Right, you get that immediate sugar rush, you get that little buzz, and then all of a sudden it's like the crash.
Right,
And
right.
if we're conscious, we can see, okay, that's not feeding me. Kind of like what I said in the video before, which is, there's like a hole in the middle in the bottom of the cup, and you poured in that sugary treat, and
Yeah,
you were depleted and come falling out the bottom.
right. Yeah, and that essentially eating it, you get that dopamine, right? You get that excitement right away, but then you are depleted after. It's not like energy that's building inside of you from consuming
Right,
this thing. And not to
right.
say that indulging isn't allowed, right? There's no rules, there's no good or bad. Like sometimes have a piece of chocolate, right? If that's like,
That's exactly what I was thinking.
yeah, do it. It's then this is all for you. There, you're doing this is you do you, right?
Right.
All of it, but really what the self-care is just bringing awareness to what your body needs.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like
Oh,
you just need a hug, right?
or
Like,
you need to dance around the room with
yeah,
nobody watching,
right. Put on your favorite song and just go for it.
right? Or singing at the top of your, I mean, how fun is that in the car when
Oh, yeah.
your favorite song comes on and you're singing?
Yep. Yep. You're like,
The
God, I sound
vibration through your body, that feels so good.
yep. Yep. Exactly. I love that. So there's so many ways, to really honor that physical self-care.
Right.
What we've gone over a few times here is just tuning in, just slowing
Tuning
down,
in
bringing awareness, asking
and
yourself, what do I need?
right. And connecting with your body and really listening in. I think that is probably the ultimate self-care, the ultimate physical self-care is tuning in with your body, just as you said, and listening. All right, that's groovy for today.
All right.
Let's
Thank you.
talk again later.
Okay.
Bye for now.
Bye.